Oh, is this thing recording? I thought there was gonna be like some kind of like little intro or something. I was just sitting there watching the little line of dots go. That's how you know I don't have the money to afford a producer. I'm like all of the above. I'm like my producer, my creative director, my manager. I'm literally all of the above. Okay, welcome to my very first episode. I have no script, no nothing. This is just me gabbing about the things that I love in this world. So I am so excited. And I have a very special co host here with me today. He's not going to say much, but he's here. Okay, so I have my little dog here with me. His name is Java and he is currently sleeping, which is what he tends to do almost all day long. And I'm like, girl, I wish I could do the same. But listen, I've got my ideas here with me. I've got my latte here with me, which I'm using a Chobani creamer for this latte. And I'm not sure if I love it. It's like the vanilla kind, but I've been drinking it just to make sure I'm getting through the bottle. But yeah, so let me take another sip. Yeah, this is, I mean, it's pretty okay, but the vanilla one, I probably will never get this bottle again. But I do highly recommend their cookie dough one because I love a latte. I don't know. Does anybody drink multiple coffees a day? I drink like maybe three a day. It's actually really sad. It's an addiction. Like I drink so much coffee to the point where I don't even eat like I'm supposed to. Like I just drink coffee and I get full off of that. And then when it's time to eat, I'm like, nah, I'm not hungry. Yeah. And yeah, it's pretty sad. It's an addiction and I definitely need some help. But I think a lot of people have a coffee addiction, so I know I'm not alone. Okay, so let me get into one of the very first topics that I knew I wanted to talk about on this show. So, the Pussycat Dolls have reunited, and it has been a while since they all got back together. It was speculated because a few weeks ago, there were reports of Nicole, Kimberly, and Ashley like in pictures together in the UK. I don't know if they were like having lunch or like some kind of coffee date or something, but there were reports of them being together. So we knew something was on the rise, and that's so exciting. I was like, oh my God, the girls are getting back together. But then I was like, wait, it's only three of them. Three of them? I was like, oh, because they started out with six. Girl, they were the original K-pop group, okay? They were the original, like, like a group that had like a bazillion members, okay? Because six was a lot. Actually, back in the day, there was one called S Club 7, and they had even more. They were, I'm telling you, they were the original K-pops. But anyways, I was very excited for the girls to get back together, and I was like, oh my God, they're gonna go back on tour. But a part of me was like, they're only gonna not record, gosh, uh, I wonder if I can crop that out, record. They're only gonna perform their tour in the UK because when they did, their last tour announcement, they were in the UK and they weren't coming to the States as far as we knew. But luckily, when they did their announcement, they are coming to the States, which is so exciting. And I was like, would they come to Nashville? Because that's where I am. And I'm like, oh my God, please, the dolls. So when they first announced their reunion a few years ago, Melody wasn't there, and that's my girl because I love her, like, her runs and, like, her voice and her voice quality. I was so sad that she wasn't gonna be there, but I was totally fine with the 5, and they released React, and all the girls, you could hear them all singing. It was a breath of fresh air, and I was like, "Oh my god, yes, Nicole, I'm so glad other girls are being heard in the background, yes, because I love Nicole, we will not slander her." But I do like to hear the other girls sing too because I love a group where you can hear all the voices. There's an acoustic version of React. If you've never heard that, definitely look that up because you can actually hear the other dolls in there. Also, I want to preface that yes, I do have topics that I want to discuss, but I'm pretty sure I've got ADHD. I've never been officially diagnosed, but I probably will go off topic a million times. I'm just gonna have to reel myself back in because I don't have a producer or anybody sitting here with me, and my dog doesn't give a shit enough to tell me. So that we'll just we'll just roll with the punches. But yeah, so yeah, the React phone that they did was really good. They also did genetics for um Megan Trainor's album. Oh my god, genetics. That that, remi- that reminds me of the Sydney Sweeney commercial where she was like genetics. Oh my god, I can't. I should probably not put that in there. Um but yeah, they were on that song called Genetics with Megan Trainor. I'm pretty sure it was only Nicole. I don't think the other girls were part of that at all, but it was branded as the Pussycat Dolls because Nicole is the Pussycat Dolls. Of course, we all know that. But the other girls are very important. like they're very important to the group. So when they had their reunion a few years ago, I was so excited and I was like, oh my God, yes. But then COVID kept getting worse and worse and worse. And they ultimately had to stop their tour, just like a lot of people. Like a lot of people had to stop their tours, stop performing, basically just not work. And it was just a very uncertain time, and, a lot of singers, entertainers, and stuff like, they were not able to work, but I mean, girl, they got the funds to keep going. Um, but yeah, that was really sad, and I was really disappointed that when, everything was all said and done, the girls ended up not getting back together. I also think there was, like, some kinda lawsuit involved between Nicole and the creator of the dolls, and I was like, "Oh my god," because I was like, "Oh my god, please just get it together for the fans." Um, but yeah, so that was pretty disappointing that that reunion just simply did not happen, but everything happens for a reason, and now the 3 are getting back together, and I'm so excited that they're coming to the States, and I looked at their tour dates, and I'm so excited because they are actually coming to Nashville on July 29th. However, I will not be able to go to that show. So disappointing. I will have to go to the July 26th show in Alpharetta, Georgia, and I've never been there before, because the night that they're in Nashville, I'm actually seeing Hilary Duff, and if anyone has not heard her new music, it's actually really good, and Hilary Duff going on tour is a big deal, so that's very exciting. But back to my girls. So excited that they're announcing this tour. My only concern is that I wonder if the American market has the demand for them just like the European market does, because we know the European market, they're gonna support the girls, like, tenfold. They are going to have their backs and go to the shows. But in the States, like, there's so many US shows, and I just hope that the demand is there because, girl, I would go to every show if I could. Like, I love PCD. I go all the way back to Don't Ya. I don't go all the way back to Sway because I didn't know who they were when Sway came out. I never even heard it, but when Don't You came out, I was like, "Oh my gosh, I love this song." And, a funny story, I remember hearing that song for the first time. I think I was a freshman in high school. I was in my first period class, and my teacher, she was so cool. Shout out Miss Chastain, wherever you are in life. She was pretty cool. She would always let us watch, like, music videos and stuff on MTV in the morning, back when MTV played music. Um, yeah, and I think I just aged myself saying I was in high school at the time. Yeah. So, I remember seeing the video and seeing all the girls, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is so exciting." I love a good girl group, and I just something caught me about Nicole. I was like, "Where have I seen this girl before?" See, I thought it was just a solo song, and those were just her backup dancers. Um and I was like, "Gosh, this lady looks so cool, like, she's pretty cool. Who is this girl?" I knew I had seen her from somewhere, so let's take it back from 2004 all the way to 2001. Back in those days, there was a show on the WB. If anybody remembers the WB, your knees are probably cracking now, because mine are. That's like an OG, like, teen channel that became the CW. Um, but there was a show on there called Pop Stars, and that was a show where it was like that was pre-Making the Band. Actually, I take that back. I think Making the Band came out first, but that was like the first show where they put together like a girl group in the States. So it was all these girls, they would audition, and then they would pick these girls to go to an LA workshop, and then they would spend, like, I think a week there, and during that week, they would dwindle down the girls to where there's, like, maybe a final 10, and then the final 10, the judges would go to their house, they'd pick 5 girls. Those 5 girls would do the second half of the season where it's, like, the band's together, living in a house together, they're recording their albums together, um, and just doing that promotion, and you see what all goes into, like, the industry, and I'm like, "Girl, this is, like, such a whirlwind." I had never seen that kind of stuff before. But anyways, Nicole was actually on that show. She was one of the 5 girls, and she was in a girl group called Eden's Crush. If you do not know who Eden's Crush is, please look them up on YouTube. And I should probably stop tapping on the table because I wonder if people can hear that. Please look her up on YouTube, or look her up on not her, look them up on like Apple Music, Spotify, wherever, because Eden's Crush, their album Pop Stars is very good. And there was no lead singer in that group. Everybody sang. So that was such a promising group, but they just kind of faded into the distance, into the abyss, and no one really knew what happened. Maybe unless you're like a mega fan. I mean, I'm a really good fan, but I was also a kid when they were around. So I didn't really know the deep dive. like how deep it actually was. I think their label had folded. They like didn't find another record label and they split. And so there was that. But so back to 2004, I see Nicole again, and I was like, "Oh my gosh." So I realized she was the girl from Eden's Crush. That's how I knew who Nicole was. But I did not know that for sure. I just knew she looked really familiar, but I did not know for sure that was her until I got their very first album. I remember I was on vacation in Florida and I saw that the Pussycat Dolls CD was finally on sale at Walmart. And I was like, "Oh my God, the dolls." So I ended up buying it and opened it. And you know, like when you open a CD and you see like all the credits and you see the pictures and the thank yous and all that kind of good stuff. And I saw it said Nicole Scherzinger, and I was like, "Holy shit, that's the girl from Eden's Crush." But yeah, I had that little connection with her, and I was like, "Oh my god, yes, she's back." But yeah, the first album by Pussycat Dolls, by the way, is a very fabulous album. That album, at least the first half, is no skips, okay? It is such a insane run. You wanna think about, like, what is the girl group version album of Katy Perry's Teenage Dream? That would be PCD by the Pussycat Dolls because half that album was released as singles, and the songs are just so good. Like, every time I listen to that album, it truly does take me back to a happier time where, like, I not to say I'm not happy now, but, like, a happier time when I was younger and, I just listen to music all the time in my room, and I'm pulling their album up on Apple Music right now because I wanna go over some of these songs. Like, there was don't Ya, Beep, with will.i.am, Wait a Minute, Stick With You, Buttons, and I Don't Need a Man. Those were the first 6 songs. Those were the songs that all became singles. Oh my god, and funny story, well, you may not think it's funny, but I do. I think it was last year, I finally, for the first time in my life, realized why the song Beep is called Beep. Because there's a freaking beep in the song. I literally never understood why that song was called Beep. I just knew they were like, "I don't give a keep looking at me, 'cause it'll mean a thing if you're looking," and then there was always the little beeps in between, and I would be like, "Oh my god, the song is called Beep because there is a beeping sound." I thought Beep was like, "Girl, I don't care about this man, I'm gonna beep him or something, like, beep this man." That's what I that's what I thought it was about back in the day. You remember beepers? I literally thought that's what it was. Anyways, it's so embarrassing. But yeah, that's an insane track rhyme. That album to me is like the girl group version of Teenage Dream by Katy Perry because we all know that is like a legendary album where it is basically like a greatest hits record. And that's how I feel about PCD. Now, there are other songs, the second half, which has like Hot Stuff, How Many Times, How Many Lies, Bite the Dust, Right Now, Tainted Love, Feeling Good. Those are like, has like a lot of their ballads, like some of the more dancier songs, but they weren't released as singles, but it still holds up very well. Like that is a fabulous album. Like I love PCD. Um, and I feel like that was their staple. I love Doll Domination. Put some respect on Doll Domination, but PCD was where it's at. So yeah, I really hope they perform some of these deep tracks on their tour with the 3 of them because they do have a lot of singles, don't get me wrong. With 2 albums and, I think they had like a mini album of Doll Domination 2.0 and all the singles that they have. They definitely have a greatest hits with literally just 2 albums. But now granted, the second album was like 2 albums in one because they recorded a hell of a bunch of songs for that one, or at least Nicole did. And the other girls did their oohs and ahs on the side. But it's very good. Like, I think one day I should honestly do a song by song PCD episode specifically for that album. Put some respect on the albums that you love. So yeah, there's that. So I really hope they perform some of these deep tracks. Like, I would love to hear them do like hot stuff on the tour. And that song, How Many Times, How Many Lies, that is a really good ballad because Nicole, she really gets all up in that song because she's like, How many times, how many lies? I'm like, girl, yes. But let me go to their second album. What were some of the deep tracks on their second album? Now, the second album, Doll Domination, I don't think it did as well as the first one, but it was still a major success. And the second album was when a lot of stuff started changing for the Dolls. See, one of the OG members left after the first album, and she was actually one of the more founding members where she was like in the burlesque troupe, dance troupe, before she became part of the recording group, and it was Carmen Bakar. She was the very like edgy redhead member of the group, and she was one of the second lead singers with Melody. If you want to know the lineup of who sings what, look in the credits of the first album and the second album. It tells you who sings lead, obviously Miss Nicole, who sings second lead, which is Carmen and Melody, and then who does additional background vocals. Like, what even is an additional background vocal besides being a second lead? It was Ashley Roberts, Jessica Sutta, and Kimberly Wyatt. Legends, okay? Legends. I know they're in those songs somewhere. They're in the abyss somewhere. If we can find a way to bring their voices, to the forefront. But yeah, Doll Domination had a pretty good single run as well. They had When I Grow Up, Bottle Pop. What you think about that? Featuring my girl Missy. And Bottle Pop has Snoop Dogg in it. I hate this part, which is, oh God, that song is so good. It's so good. Taking Over the World. I don't think that was a single though. It's got Who's Gonna Love You, Happily Never After, which actually in that song, you can hear Neo in the bridge because I looked at the credits and Neo helped write the song Happily Never After. He does the done, I'm done, I'm done. He does that part. It's so good. Magic, Halo, In Person, Elevator, Hush Hush. So the album version of Hush Hush is a ballad. I freaking love the ballad, okay? But when they released it as a single, it was merged with the song I Will Survive. And I Will Survive is like, it was done in like such a dancey way. And it was very, very, very good. I loved the dancey version. And I don't know if that was big here in the States because here in the States, the biggest ones that we had were When I Grow Up. I think What You Think About That maybe had some moderate success here, but I know that When I Grow Up and I Hate This Part, they had like major success here in the States. Those were the songs that I heard on the radio all the time. And I Hate This Part video when they were in the desert, girl, that video is like that's like an A-list type video. That's in like the pop girly hall of fame to me because that's such a good song. Um, so then there's Love the Way You Love Me, Whatchamacallit, I'm Done, and then on the deluxe version of Doll Domination, they had, the 5 members, they each had a solo song. So, like, Jessica did If I Was a Man, Melody did Space, and I know Melody, she gave it everything she had in Space because I just know I think in several interviews she stated that she's more of a singer than a dancer, but she was hired to be like a dancer. And then she got to do like the second leads, but it was more of like the runs and like the wailing in the background. Like in Buttons, you can hear her a lot. Because she's the one in the background going, oh, wow. I mean, I'm not Melody, but that's that. It sounds a little something like that. Where she's like, oh, something like that. But she never really had like any like solid verses that actually like showcased how good her voice actually was. So I really, really liked Space. That was a very good album. Kimberly did Don't Want to Fall in Love, which sounds like it's like an ode to like the 80s, and that sounded really good. And Ashley did Played, and I loved hearing Ashley's voice. She was absolutely fabulous singer. And then Nicole, can you believe this? Nicole had a solo song on the deluxe edition, a song by herself. I'm like, Nicole, but it was a very good song. It's Until You Love You. I needed to back up just a little bit because I said no slander to Nicole. So let's back up a little bit because I was like, girl, but I do love that song. I think Until You Love You is one of the best ballads on the album, and she hits a fire note at the end. It's absolutely fabulous. But then things changed in Doll Domination because they obviously had Carmine had left the group, which I just found out recently why she left the group. She left because she was given like a choice either to participate in a show that she had been like planning for months or something, to be a part of, or to do like maybe the tour with the dolls or something. Fact check me if I'm wrong, but she chose to go with what she thought was best, which was the project outside of the dolls. And I get it. I totally get it. If you're performing in somebody's shadow and you want to be a performer and you want to sing, you're going to have to obviously branch out at some point because let's not get it twisted. My girl, Nicole, she did have some solo stuff in between the dolls, but the solo stuff unfortunately did not take off here in the States. So they put some of those songs on Doll Domination and it worked that way because the branding of the dolls. I personally love Nicole's solo music a lot though. But yeah, things changed for Doll Domination. I know they went on a tour, it was very successful, but I believe during the Doll Domination run, I think Jessica left, and then it was down to the 4 girls, and then I think that's when they called it quits, and they hung up their boas, to say the least, and started doing, like, their own, like, solo projects and things like that, because I know that Nicole worked on an album called Killer Love, and it was released in the UK. Girl, I found that CD at a thrift shop here in Nashville, and I have cherished that CD ever since. Like, I love that album. But yeah, you guys, I talk really fast sometimes, and I don't think it's because of this latte with the caffeine. I just talk really, really fast sometimes. Just know it's a work in progress. Also, there's like no way to pause this. So if I get some like acid indigestion while I'm talking, girl, bear with me. Um, so yeah, I remember when the dolls they had like more of like a silent breakup because I don't really remember it making headlines that the Pussycat Dolls weren't together anymore. I really don't remember that at all. Um, I'm not sure if it was announced because I do remember back in like 2009, 2010-ish, there was a promo at the Super Bowl, and they were branded as the Pussycat Dolls, and Lauren from Paradiso Girls, I think Christina from Girlicious was one of the girls, and those are both groups that Robin Anton put together, and Robin Anton is who created the Pussycat Dolls, and they were in that lineup. They were gonna be the new Pussycat Dolls, and I think it was gonna be Paula from GRL was also in there. And I think there was not gonna be one lead singer, it was just gonna be the new Pussycat Dolls with the new brand, and, that ended up not happening. I'm not sure what happened along the way, but girls were getting replaced and things like that, and it ended up being, the girls who became GRL. They were gonna be originally, I think they were gonna be the 2nd generation of Pussycat Dolls, but it just became a whole new brand, a whole new band, called GRL, and I think that that is, if I did my research correctly, that is who the new Pussycat Dolls were gonna be, was the girls in GRL. You know GRL, that song, Ugly Heart? Gosh, how does that song go? Uh, oh my god, I love this song. How do I not remember how it goes? Anyways, that song "Ugly Heart," that's who, the 2nd generation of Pussycat Dolls were gonna be, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, and then that was, like, a very silent thing too, like, just no more of the Pussycat Dolls, and plus, really, you can't have the Pussycat Dolls without Nicole. It's like saying, "Let's get Destiny's Child back together, but we're not gonna do it with Beyoncé." That would just be a travesty, because some bands just simply don't in my opinion, they don't really work without their lead singer. They just don't. They do not work without their lead singer. So fast forward back to like from 2008, 2010, that era, bump it up about 10 years later to about 2019, 2020, when the 5 Pussycat Dolls got together without Melody. And they were going to do their thing. And then obviously the COVID thing, and then they had their thing and it fell out and it didn't work out. There were lawsuits and blah, 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 blah. And so we're back to present day. Okay, so this is why I told you guys. I'm so serious. I think I have ADHD, but it's just the way my mind works. Because I've gone off track so many times and gone down like separate roads or whatever. But girl, we got all day to talk about this because I'm so excited about my podcast, Joe. I'm so excited to have my show. But yeah, they are doing their tour here in the States now with just the three. Okay, I had no idea that my recorder was gonna stop after 20 minutes. I had to go back and listen to a recording to see where I left off, but yeah. So, it's the 3, and they have gotten a pretty good reaction so far because some people really truly want all the girls there, but there are reasons why all the girls are not there, um, and that's I believe Melody just wants to stay solo. Jessica can't dance right now, and there's some other reasons why. But this is listen, there's nothing held back on this show. But one thing we are not going to talk about is I'm not going to get into politics. We are just not going to go down that road. Um, and let's see, Carmine, I'm not really sure why she's not there. Maybe it's because she's in support. I honestly don't know, but I will put some respect on my girl because I do wish Carmine was there because she literally was there from the beginning. But this is what it is. This is what the gods have in store for us, and this is what the fates have given us. So this is what we're gonna take. They released a new song, which is so good. It's called Club Song, and it's with the 3. So it's Nicole, Kimberly, and Ashley. And if you have not heard Club Song, please, for the love of God, please go on your Apple Music, go on your Spotify. For those that use other stuff like Amazon Music, blah, 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 I don't know who uses that stuff, but not to diss or slander or anything, but it's always Apple or Spotify, Apple or Spotify. Believe it or not, there's people out there that still use Pandora, honey. Um, but yes, um, that song is really good, and for it to be an indie song, it is really, really, really good. That's it's such a good comeback song. Do I think it's as strong as React? Definitely not, but I do really like the vibe of the 3 girls together doing their thing. So, I know for a fact that's gonna be, on tour, and I have been watching some of their videos in preparation for this podcast. I've been watching some of their videos where they are talking about the tour and talking about what they're excited for, what led them, how they got with just the three. So that's pretty exciting. And I just really honestly am so glad that they're back because my millennial heart is like screaming right now because it's so strange, like, as I get older in life, it's so strange seeing, like, all the people that I've grown up listening to and watching on TV that they're all getting older now, and, like, for example, actors that were playing teenagers on shows that I watched growing up, like, they were, like, the high school students, now they're playing people's parents on TV, which is so wild to me because time has gone by like that, and I wish I could snap my fingers, but I actually cannot snap my fingers. I don't have the ability to for some reason. I've got all my fingers, but for some reason I can't. I can't do it. I just can't do it. I've never been able to do it. So but yeah, it's like so many groups are getting back together again. Like the Sugar Babes got back together with the original lineup. I do wish they put some respect on Heidi and let her do some songs with them, but that's just me. I know that, Steps have gotten back together and they've been back together since like 2010 or something like that, and I love Steps. I know Five has gotten back together, which is amazing because I think Five is so cool. Like they're like I love how they have, like, their own cool vibe. It's not all ballads with them. They are definitely, like, all about a good time, and I wish Five would come to the States, but I know that that's not gonna happen because I just don't think they have a market here in the States. Like, that's not, you know how it was, S Club 7 got back together again, but they came to the States, but they had their TV show on, I think it was Fox Family. They had their show, and that is a show that I, to this day, totally regret the fact that I did not go to that show. I should have gone to their Chicago show, but I didn't. I don't even know why I didn't at the time. I think it's because I had another commitment that was, like, a little too close, so maybe that's why I didn't go, but I totally regret not going because I knew there was a chance, like, what was the chance they'd probably not do it again? So, I'm hoping and praying that when the band gets back together again and goes on tour again, I hope that they come to the States. I don't even care if it's S Club 2 or S Club 1. I'm like, I would just love to go and see them because I mean, that was, you know I'm telling you, it's a big deal for millennials when, like, these bands get back together again, and one band that I'm really, 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 like, hoping get back together again, and it would just make me the happiest person on planet Earth is the Spice Girls. I would love for them to get back together again one more time, and please, Victoria, I just really want her to be there because I love when the 4 get together, but it's so different when the 5 of them are together, and I really truly wish that she would be a part of this next show because the stadium shows they did in the UK back in 2019 looked phenomenal. But now I got beef with their people because listen, I love my girls, but their team needs to be doing better. Their team needs to be putting out Blu-rays or digital copies of like their tours, the deluxe editions of their albums that should have been put out on these really big packages. Because let me tell you something, Girls Aloud got back together recently and to do their tour as the Four, and they've been releasing like these huge deluxe editions of their albums with like three different discs in it if you get the CD version, and their vinyls look really good. And I just got the Girls Aloud show DVD package that has the DVD, the Blu-ray, the two CDs, and the book part of it is so nice. It is so nice. And I'm like, Spice Girls, go y'all have a sit down with your team, please, and let them know this is what the people want. And there is demand for it. There really is demand for it. So that's what I wish for my girls. But yeah, it's just all these bands getting back together. It's amazing. Like it just lets you know that it's that the people from that time, their music still holds the test of time. Like it honestly has. And that's the music that people will remember because I do sometimes think that the newer music that's out today, it doesn't it doesn't have that same impact as, like, music that was out back in, like, the '90s and early 2000s, that impact that it has, where they're gonna be, like, long-lasting songs that you are going to hear, like, a bazillion years from now. Like, I'm being so serious, like, and I will not be mentioning any names because I do think that some of the groups today and, like, some of the singers today, especially the groups, that I don't really know necessarily think that they're gonna be considered, like, pop legends or anything like that. The inspirations are there, and I can see that, but I just don't think that these music labels and things like that, they don't care anymore. Like, there's the thing. A lot of these singers today, they don't I feel like a lot of people I don't even know if it's that they don't want to. It's that I don't even think that their labels won't support it. There's no bodies of work being released anymore. It's all so singles driven, all digital, which I can understand the digital part and get behind that because, I think it's kind of amazing that you can have like the entire world of music in your hands at one time. You don't have to carry around like 5 or 6 CDs and choose what to have in your car and yada yada yada. Y'all remember them like those CD players that used to be in cars that were like you could put like 6 discs in there? Please. Um, yeah, I just think that's, like, amazing. You can have everything all in one place. I think it's amazing. You have the whole world in your pocket, like, yeah, on your phone, in your Apple Music, and it's it's amazing. But yeah, I don't think anybody's putting out bodies of work anymore, like a good album from start to finish, like, everything is just EPs and singles, and I'm like, "Girl," and half these songs that are out today are literally, like, 2 minutes and done, and I know listen, I've done my research, and I know it has a lot to do with streaming because the more you stream a song, the more revenue it's gonna make, and the shorter a song it is, the more it's gonna get played, and I'm like, "Girl, whatever happened to those 3.5-minute songs? The ones that really took you on a journey. You got your first verse, your hook, the chorus, then take us back to another verse, to another hook again, chorus, and then there's, like, uh, the bridge, which is, like, the Mac Daddy part of the song where it, like, really takes you to a place, and it really does like, enhance the song, and that's usually when they hit, like, the high notes and the wailing starts, and that's when the rain comes down, and it's just really sad, and you really hope to God that the singer doesn't get back together with their ex because they're trifling as hell and things like that, so I don't really hear songs like that anymore, I really don't. That's why I'm, like, so stuck in my era, and that's one reason why I wanted to do this podcast is because I want to talk about the older stuff that I grew up on and put some respect on it and, like, really put it out there and be like, "Hey, let's, go down memory lane and talk about that kinda stuff." But at the same time, these people, like, especially, like, these younger people that are born, like, around where they're, like, turning, like, 20 years old now, born in the early 2000s, what's out today, this is their generation's music, so you gotta put some respect on that because this is their generation's music, and they feel the same way about their stuff that we do about ours. So, yeah. But it's gonna be interesting when we go to the Pussycat Dolls song. Oh, by the way, I'm going with a friend who she is so excited to see them just like I am. Her name's Jackie, and, shout out Jackie. And we're gonna be so excited to go to this show because she's a PCD stan just like me, and we already have, like, ideas for, like, what kinda outfits we want for the show and things like that, but girl, fingers crossed. I've got my legs crossed, my toes crossed, my fingers crossed that none of the US shows get impacted and that we are all still able to go to this show. And, yeah, I'm just super, super, super excited, but it does suck I can't go see it in Nashville, and I gotta go to Georgia for it, but hey, road trip. So, yeah, I have such high expectations for this, Pussycat Dolls show. I really hope they do meet and greets, but if they don't, it's gonna be okay. But I've been doing a lot of meet and greets for concerts I go to. I've been going to conventions lately because 2 years ago, I promised myself that I was gonna start living my best life, and I was gonna go and meet the people that I grew up watching, grew up listening to, and I have set out on that journey and I've been able to do it. And it's been phenomenal. It's been great meeting people and it's been such a fun experience. And I would love to meet the Pussycat Dolls. And I can tell you, I would literally be so excited if I met them. I can tell you somebody who I've met who I was so starstruck by. So I went down to Georgia for a book signing called Rosie Frost. And it's a series written by Jerry Halliwell. Now, if you don't know who Jerry Halliwell is, she is Ginger Spice from the Spice Girls. I met her in a bookstore. She had a book event. I can't remember what town it was because it wasn't Atlanta. It was somewhere else. I can't remember the town, but um, I also met a really cool girl there. Her name's Ashley. Shout out Ashley from my Instagram. Hey, if I ever do a Spice Girl episode, girl, you got to come on. Okay, so yeah, I was so starstruck meeting Jerry Halliwell. But since then, I've met like Jesse McCartney. I have met Danity Kane, and I never thought I'd meet Danity Kane. I was so excited when I met Danity Kane. And when I met Jesse McCartney, that was so exciting because, girl, let me tell you something. I had the biggest crush on Jesse McCartney when I was in high school, and I was like, "Oh my god, Jesse!" So like when I met him, I was like, "Oh my god, he's so hot," and it was just, yeah, it was very very fun. But like all that aside, all that extra aside, but no, all the extra aside, he puts on a great show. Jesse McCartney is fabulous, and he's indie now, so shout out to Jesse. Go give his music a chance. His indie music is so good, and he still stays true to his roots with his pop music. Also, I'm still trying to figure out how to do this whole recording thing because I get stopped every like 20, 10, 15 minutes, and I don't even see when it stops. And I just keep babbling on. But luckily, I can play these tracks back and see where I left off. Because girl, that would be so tragic if I do all this talking and can't even save the memories. Also, this program that I'm using, that literally the microphone that I'm using told me to download this program. It's a beta. I'm like, girl, this ain't even a real thing. Okay, so anywho, but yeah, I've been like so inspired, but just for different reasons to even start this podcast. It was like it was meeting people, the Pussycat Dolls getting back together, and I was like, oh my god, I should totally like gab about this. But I was like, why gab about this and why call and gab about it to somebody over the phone when I can just do a podcast about it and gab to the whole world about it? Because listen, I love pop music. I'm literally truly obsessed with pop music. It is my favorite thing in the world. It's basically the butter on my bread, and I can't live without it and I have to have it. Like pop music is my favorite. And I found out recently that pop music, even though it's considered a genre, it's basically stands for like popular music. See, I thought pop was strictly just a sound because I've always noticed on my Apple Music, see, I'm an Apple Music person. So you're gonna hear me reference Apple Music a lot because I do not subscribe to Spotify. I use the free version. But shout out to Spotify for being free. Um, and for allowing me to have my podcast on there. Shout out Spotties. Um, God, what was I saying? Oh yeah, you'll hear me reference Apple Music a lot, but what was I saying before that? Ooh, my God. Hmm. Damn, I'll have to come back to that because I just lost my train of thought. Oh my gosh, yes. That's what I'm saying. Like I like went off track. But anyways, yeah, I'm just really excited to start my podcast and share it with the world because oh yeah, I was talking about like sharing it with the world. Yeah, it's just super, super, super exciting because I've always wanted to have like my own platform. And I don't have like a professional producer or anything like that telling me the do's and don'ts of this. So like I'm gonna be learning along the way and hopefully I don't say anything that's gonna get me canceled or anything like that. Cause I'm not like I don't want to be that person. But I do have a lot of opinions when it comes to like pop music and things like that. And I'm just very, very, very passionate about it. And I'm just so excited to share this journey with everybody. And there are so many other things that I would want to talk about. And yes, this is going to be very music focused, but I also wanted to put it out there that this is about pop culture too, so that I can talk about things like Survivor. Hello, season 50. Hello. Shows like The Challenge, things like that. Like, maybe I should try to get into like a Netflix show like Love is Blind and things like that because I don't really watch those shows. But I have friends that they want me to watch these shows. And I'm like, I should. And like, I have a platform now to talk about it now and give the people what they want. So I'm very excited to share that. And hopefully I can get some co-hosts on here, some real true co-hosts, because as you can see, Java hasn't really contributed to this episode. Honey, I think he ran to his crate. He was sitting next to me a minute ago. But hopefully I can get some co-hosts on here pretty soon. I know that my friend is going to be on my Pussycat Doll episode that we're going to talk about after the concert. It's in the works right now that I might have somebody do an episode with me about the newest season of Survivor, season 50. I know we've got the week of finale lined up, possibly, but I would love to gab every now and again, every like maybe a few weeks about some of the episodes leading up. Because baby, I'm so excited about Survivor 50. I'm a very big Survivor stan, and I just know that like some of my episodes they are going to be about Survivor. I know I said I was going to do an episode every Friday, but girl, once this show gets on the road, honey, I might put out like 10 episodes a week. I mean, maybe not, but if I want to talk about it, I'm going to jot it down and definitely put it down and probably try to touch on it all in one episode. I did this episode without a checklist, and let me tell you something, even in the recording of this, I'd be like, "Oh my god, what if I forget what I'm talking about?" Or, like, "What if I don't touch all the things that I wanted to touch on in this episode?" So next episode, I think I'm gonna have a checklist to make sure I stay on topic a little bit, 'cause, not everybody can keep up with, like, how I am, and, like, I also talk really fast, like, I kinda noticed recording this, I'm like, "Am I even breathing?" And, like, I wanted to take a sip of my latte, but if I take a sip of my latte, it's gonna be like this, hold on. And then come back. And there's no room for pausing on this because somebody could be listening to this on their way to work. They could be listening to this while they work out. They could be listening to this while they're at work because work is boring. They could be listening to this while they're just being a lazy couch potato. Honey, they could be listening to this while they're using the bathroom because, some people like to play on YouTube and stuff while they're doing that. And by the way, I do plan on being on YouTube at some point. But right now, I'm only focusing on the audio. I don't have any videos to upload at the moment. I don't really have the setup for that right now because I am in the process of moving. And if you could see the background of my apartment at the moment, honey, it looks like the house got flipped upside down. It's just because we're moving, and so we're going through everything and like getting rid of a bunch of stuff, and we're just upgrading to a bigger space, which I'm so excited about. Um, but yeah, so if anybody has any ideas for my podcast or things you would love for me to talk about, definitely message me on Instagram. It's underscore pop for real. The number four, pop for real. It's underscore pop for real. And you can always message me on there. You can comment on any kind of posts I make, obviously. Definitely share my show with other people because I am starting from the ground up with this show. I don't have like a lot of like paid promotion and blah, 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 but this is for fun. So I'm like not even checking my analytics right now because I do not want to feel pressured. I just want to present something really good to people and have fun. So yeah, just if you have any ideas, any music you want me to review, or like any topics you want me to touch on, and please, for the love of God, don't be messy about it. I'm so serious. Don't be messy. Um, because I like to fulfill what I say and I like to go through with what I say. But girl, we are not going to turn my show into a trash bag. Um, so yeah, I'm just super, super, super excited. And I also want to shout out some people that like really inspired me to make my podcast. I would like to give a shout out to the CC the Nonstop Pop Show with Chris and Shan. Like they are some of my biggest inspirations to start a podcast because I love watching their show and listening to them talk about music, and it's like how passionate they are about pop music. And I was like, oh my God, I honestly need to follow my dreams and start my podcast too. So shout out to them. And if you aren't following them, definitely look them up on YouTube because they do videos and they're on like Apple Podcasts and things like that. It's called the Nonstop Pop Show, and they are absolutely fabulous. So yeah, so I think that's going to be it for today's first episode, which I'm so excited to share with everyone. And thank you for hanging in there with me. I know I talk super fast, which I'm working on that as well. And I think as time goes on, I'm going to get more and more polished at this. I knew my first episode was going to be a hot mess just because it's my very first one, but I think that's what also makes it a little authentic. So yeah, I'm gonna get off of here and I'm going to finish watching Girls Five Eva because I've been watching that on Netflix. You know that show, Gonna Be Famous Five Eva. It's got Sarah Bareilles and Busy Phillips and Paula Pell. It's a fabulous, fabulous show. If you are into like comedy, and it's about a girl group that was together like in the 90s and they broke up in the early 2000s. They reunite 20 years later and they're trying to have a comeback. Their songs are goofy as hell, but it's so, so funny. Like that show is like, it's heartfelt, it's funny, it's hilarious. But, anyways, I'm going to run. It's been so fun doing this. I'm so excited to share this with everybody. Tell your mom, your dad, your granddad, your hairdresser, your coworker, your bosses. Tell everybody to listen to my show. If they don't like pop music, hell, at least hit the plus sign. You ain't even got to listen to it. Girls, support small businesses. Okay. Thanks for listening, everybody. It's been so fun. And I'll see you guys next time. Well, I won't see you guys, but you'll hear me next time. Goodbye.